on?
We are active.
All right. So when we look into Zechariah 14 and 11, it says, men will dwell in it. There'll be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be utterly inhabited. Shall be safely inhabited. If it's going to be safely inhabited, that means it's going to be rest. Of course, kind of bring down more. It's too late now. We can start because you got it too tall. That's all it is. It says, and this shall be the plague whereof Yahuwah shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So that's when dudes say, see, that's thermonuclear warfare. But we know that man say he coming back with what? 2 Peter chapter 2 and about verse 3.
Fire.
That's the only thing gonna make something consume away. It's fire. That's the first thing. It's gonna be thermonuclear warfare. That's the nukes hitting America, but he's not talking about nukes hitting America. He talking about whoever fight against Jerusalem, this is what I'm gonna do to them. How they get America out of that? Look at Captain Steuben. I don't know why he's sitting in a chair. 2 Peter 3 and 10. He say, but the day of the master will come as a thief in the night, in which the Shamahim shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein, shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you be into all Kodesh behavior and Kodeshness and godliness, looking for the hasting unto the coming of the day of Elohim, wherein the heaven heaven being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And you got people sitting around saying they looking forward to that. But in actuality, they're not looking forward to that, because he said not only will the Shamahim and the earth be burnt up, but he said all the works therein. So that means all the wickedness therein is catching that too. You know what I'm saying? All the adulterers, all the fornicators, all the idolaters, all the coveters, all the homos, all the bulldaggers, all the thieves, all those who destroyed the earth in whatever manner and capacity they destroyed it, he coming to see them. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at that. Come on back to Zechariah. Verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great torment for Yahuwah shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every man on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor, and Yahuwah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel in great abundance. If you would also know, and I believe it's Psalm 68, you can go look at it. He said that they shall bring treasures to thy temple in Jerusalem. You just read who the temple was. So when you read it, you niggas say Judah gonna come and we gonna take all these people well. That's not talking about you. That's talking about a Mashiach gonna fight with these people. Don't you know that's what they give conquering kings as well? Don't you know Revelation 21 say, and all the nations that shall be saved shall bring their glory and their honor into it. They gonna bring it to them. Now look at verse 17. Make it 16 actually. It said, it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, even unto them shall be no rain. And if the family of Mizraim go not up, and come not that have no rain, there shall be a plague whereof Yahuwah shall smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Mizraim and the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. So what do you think this means when he say of all the families of the earth that are left, they got to come up. And if they don't come up, they don't get no rain. What do you think this could mean?
They not receive the Ruah, and then they'll be burned up. Because anything that doesn't have his Ruah is going to be destroyed.
It's not going to dwell there. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be destroyed. What did we already read in Revelation 21? There'll be no more death.
No more sea.
There'll be no more sea. There'll be no more pain. There'll be no more sorrow. These people are going to actually have to come and submit themselves unto him. You know what I'm talking about? You don't come up. Let's go look in Deuteronomy 16, what he said about it. You know what's going on during the Feast of Tabernacles, right? All the way down the line. You get your Revelation 19 along with it. We'll get to Malachi chapter 3 and back to Leviticus 23 and James 5 in a minute. We had a little delay. It is what it is. We had a little delay. New screen decided to die on us. 16 and 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yahuwah thy Elohim in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. They shall not appear before Yahuwah empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Yahuwah thy Elohim, which he hath given thee. So do you see the key thing? He say, how many times is it on?
Yeah, that's all. I want to see if I can zoom in.
You know what I'm saying? It's just because it's too high.
Okay.
He said 3 times a year you got to show up, right? You know what he said in Numbers. 1 manner of law for you and for the stranger. There's neither Yahudim or Greek, no bond, no free, no male or female, but all are one, and Yahushua Mashiach. So now you look at that. If they claim to be walkers, if they left, that means they got an opportunity. Because their opportunity was there because they had to be following something for them to leave it. You know what I'm saying? Why would he just eliminate, let's just say it's 100,000 Arabs over here. I killed 75,000 of them and leave 25. That means they had to have been walking in something. Because a dude posted that the other day. He said, is there anybody in the so-called Middle East preaching the word? Now, I ain't never seen none personally, but I know if our people are over there, somebody's doing it. You know what I'm saying? That much I know. If there is a so-called Negro over there in any shape, form, or fashion, boy, y'all got somebody around there preaching. Were they standing on street corners doing it? Or what? I don't know. They might be doing it, they just ain't putting it on YouTube. You know, America's a little different. You know what I'm saying? We got all the technology and all this stuff that we able to actually put this stuff out here and it gets abroad. How we know this stuff getting abroad? Because people be hollering at brothers in different countries. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all know that, because how would Tony know about us in Australia unless somebody pointed him in that direction? You know what I'm saying? You think he just gonna get on YouTube and just like, oh, I'm gonna find these people in Jacksonville, Florida? You know what I'm saying? How would he know about it? A dude hollered at me from Africa a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? How would he know what we doing? And he say he know what we doing because somebody pointed him in our direction. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's probably plenty of people that's in Africa who preaching the word. You probably not gonna see who they are. They could be in the Philippines, in Japan, in China. You just not gonna run across their stuff like you do, because they might not have the means and the ways to get that done like we would. You know what I'm saying? You already know most of these niggas, all they need is a $20 camera from Walmart and a tripod, and they on the corner like this here. That's right. Palm Yasharala, they own it popping like they doing something. So I done seen this nigga, old cheapo camera in the throw rug. It's going down. Come on back to Jeremiah 14. Matter of fact, Revelation 22. 22 and 13. That lead out there, Fred? He says, I am the beginning and ending and the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Now, how are these people going to be able to even get any water, get any rain, thing in there? Because you already know how he described it. We're going to read it in James in a moment. You know, in the book of Hosea, you know how he described the Ruach, right? You know what he called it, right? The early and latter rain. So when you turn around and you look at him saying if they don't come up for this feast, if they ain't coming up for this feast, that means they're not coming up to give homage to his son. You know what I'm saying? That means you can't acknowledge my rule and authority that my son has taken for himself, that I gave him, which he would in turn turn around and give up to me, because our name is one, and it's one Yahuwah now. So now you're going to have to see me. You know what I'm saying? And with being there, you won't get eternal life. Like, dudes really think that it's not going to be no rain. Why would y'all be dwelling on the earth and we be like this, like how it's looking right now, it's a little cloudy? You know what I'm talking about? What's a good chance of rain, boy? What is rain there for not but for one cause and one cause alone? We looked at Romans chapter 8 talking about the redemption of the body. He said the redemption of the body can only come if the seed falls on the ground and die. So the only way that a Mashiach going to be able to redeem your body is you're going to have to die to the flesh and bring forth fruit unto Kodesh, like he told you in Romans chapter 6. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. Which means if that seed fell in that good ground and you died and you brought forth that fruit to Kodesh, when this man get back here, he'll be able to gather up that fruit and bring it into the land. You know what I'm saying? He'll be able to gather up that wheat and bring it into his barn. Because you only gather up the harvest in the wintertime on tabernacles. When he told you, after you done that, then this comes. When a Mashiach gather up his fruit, then it'll come with the actual marriage supper of the Lamb. We'll look at Revelation 19 to go along with that in a moment. He said, for without are dogs. You know what a dog is, right? What's a dog, Corey? Go on and tell him.
Heathen. Canine.
Tell him again, what?
Heathen.
Heathen. Remember what a Mashiach called that woman? It's not meat to give the children's bread to dogs. Because that's what we called them people. They were dogs to us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look at this dog, man. You better get... And the truth be told, it done kind of switched now. I don't believe our people had a liking towards domesticated animals like that. You know what I'm saying? Walk around here, had no dog in my house. You know what I'm saying? You know, I wasn't never with it. You know what I'm saying? Them things stink. You know what I'm talking about? The whole house smell like dog. Got pet dander everywhere. Nigga mess around, catch fleas. Everybody in the house itching, don't know why.
Yeah, she.
You know, the Egyptians, they like to have cats in their house. They were probably doing other stuff with them cats.
We're not going to talk about that stuff.
Probably the reason why they got the other name they got for them now. Ain't no telling. We probably have to look at that, see why they call cats. They're like, wait, why of all things to call a cat, you call it that? You know what I'm saying? Why you want to do that? Man, you can't put nothing past the Egyptians, boy. Them some weird people, man. Them some weird people, man. He said, I, Yahusha, have sent my Malachim to testify unto you these things in the synagogues. I am the root and offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. And the Ruach and bride say, come. Let him here say, come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take of the water of life freely. Remember, he said he would cause living waters to rain down from Jerusalem. So obviously, if them people don't come up, there would be no way for them to get it. He said, come get it freely. Because you already know what he said in Isaiah 55. Come to the waters and drink. Come buy with no money. No, it don't cost you nothing. You know what I'm saying? See, when you look at most Israelites and most Christian preachers, they charge you for it. You know what I'm saying? But it don't cost you nothing. You know the only thing it costs you to get the Ruach of Yahuwah? Die to your flesh and die to the world and walk in obedience. Come on over here to Malachi chapter 3 and 7. We'll work our way down and call it in because somebody need a grill. I ain't call no name.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, he threw you on the butt talking about Corey got a grill.
I ain't got one, but we can build one.
Yeah. I'm talking about, but by the time you build the grill, ain't nobody hungry no more.
Okay. It won't take as long as you think it will.
Verse 7 of Malachi.
Dig a nice hole, get some coal, get thing, wood in there.
Even from the days of your fathers you are gone away from my ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith Yahuwah of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? Will a man rob Elohim? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse. You have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. Prove me now wherein, saith Yahuwah of hosts, if I will not open up you the windows of Shamahim and pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruit of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Now we were looking at this before. Y'all remember that? He said he will rebuke the devourer. Well, who's the devourer?
The oppressor.
Huh?
The oppressor.
Who's the oppressor?
The adversary.
Satan.
Sin.
Remember he said in John 16, he said the prince of this world is judged. He has nothing against me. You know he has power over death. He's seeking to devour your fruit. That's why he told you to guard yourself against him and not to be ignorant of the wiles of the devil. See, a lot of y'all, that's what I would mention a lot. Somebody had to get in our sister's head, tell her somewhere along the line, it's all right for you to wear that type of stuff. Even if it didn't come from an outside source, something didn't pop in your own mind. It's okay. It's okay. That's the devourer. He's going to cause you to cast fruit before it's time. You know what happens when you have a baby before it's time? It's stillborn. And it dies. You know what I'm talking about? That baby don't come full. We also you got premature babies, but then also their likelihood of survival is shorter than a baby that come to full term. See, Satan try to catch some of y'all and eat you up before you get to full maturity. You know what I'm saying? Same way you talking about how these fruits ain't got no seeds. Some of y'all done planted some vegetables or some fruits, and they weren't fully mature when you picked them and you were hot. And what you did with them? Can't eat this. Some of y'all done went to the store and bought that. Know they hot, you buy underripe. There's like some fruits ain't like a banana. I can just let it sit here to catch up. You catch an apple or an orange and it's not ripe, it's pretty much done. Can't do nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to sit back and look at it the same way. That's what the devourer will come to do. Try to eat up your ground. You know what I'm saying? Your adversary walk about as a roaring lion, seeking that whom he may devour. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to look at Luke chapter 8. What Jordan crying?
Yeah, I can just look at all that.
Luke what? Chapter 8. About verse 10, I believe. Actually, about verse 11. Verse 11, actually. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of Elohim. Those by the wayside are they that hear, then come the devil and take away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. You know what that end up being? That's people who can't hear. Now we were talking about it's some that can't hear. That's people who can't hear. They on the rock are they which when they hear receive the word with joy. These have no root, which for a while believe, and in the time of temptation fall away. So when there come a time where you get tempted, and it's something that you like, and it's something that you want, guess what you gonna do? Follow after, because you didn't have no root in yourself. And they that which fall among the thorns are they which when they have heard go forth and are choked with the cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection. So you know what that is? That's that fruit that's been ate up by the devourer. You've been choked off because you worry about the cares and the things of this life. Now we know there's certain things you got to know, you got to do, and you got to handle. That's a given. That's handling business. But sometimes, boy, you can get choked off with that stuff, boy. You cast your fruit before it's time. That mean it ain't perfect. That mean it's an unripe fruit. That's that apple, that's that orange. What I'm going to do with it? I'm going to throw it away.
All I have to do is hold on for a little bit longer.
He say, but that on the good ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it, and bring forth fruit with patience. So that's the one the devourer has been rebuked for your sake. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, because you patiently endure. Now he knows because he's a husbandman. You got to have some real live patience planting fruits and vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
Can't rush it.
That's why people do the stuff they do to the fruits and vegetables, because they have no patience. Because we want to make some money and we want to make it now. I don't got 6 months for these bananas to grow. What can we do to get them done in 2? You know what I'm saying? I don't got 8 months for these apples to grow. What can we do to get it done in a month? You know what I'm saying? James chapter 5, verse 7. It's like I said, it's genetically modified. And when you mess around with Satan, you genetically modified, because the modification of your DNA is straight wickedness. It ain't y'all. James 5 and 7. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the master. Behold, the husbandmen wait for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient and establish your hearts, for the coming of a Mashiach draw nigh. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge stand at the door. Stand before the door, pardon me. Take my brethren the prophets who have spoken in the name of a Mashiach for an example of suffering, affliction, and patience. We'll go right back to what we were talking about in Deuteronomy chapter 8. See, come back to Leviticus 23 now. Because he said he couldn't devour, he couldn't bring that fruit in the land, and he couldn't come get that fruit until it was ready. Don't you know Revelation 19 start off with the words, his wife has made herself ready. The fruit is ready. It's time for me to go get it. He said he been waiting for it too. You know what he said? The husband been waiting for the precious fruit of the earth, and with much patience he waiting for it. Because he said it's going to taste so good. I can see Corey right now. I've been growing these grapes. They look like they're going to be so good. Last thing you want to do is be sitting back there rushing. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Then you taste it. It's disgusting. It's bitter. It's nasty. Now you got to scrap the whole tree. 43 and 39 again. Also, in the 15th day of the 7th month, when you gather in the fruit of the land, you shall keep a feast unto Yahuwah 7 days, and on the first day shall be a Shabbat, and on the 8th day shall be a Shabbat. And you shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branch of palm trees, and the boughs of fig trees, and the willows of brooks, and you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim 7 days. That's why I'm telling you that you got to know that dwelling in these tents is not what this is about, because ain't probably on a handful of people when it made them a tent like exactly how the man told you to go do it. You know what I'm saying? Most people went straight to the stove, copped him a tent, and pitched him. You know what I'm saying? So you know it's bigger than just being in the tent. Whether you were in a tent for 1 day out the feast, or you was in the tent for the entire 7. Whether you got a campground and stayed in it, or whether some of these niggas claim they out in the wood, which I know ain't none of these niggas out in the wood, nigga in a space in their apartments, or nigga went to the campgrounds. Because you live in a developed country. You just ain't post up and just go get in the wood unless you live in the country. You know what I'm saying? Then you could be like, well shoot, we really gon', and like a dude said, if you was really in the wood, you ain't Facebooking out there, buddy. Where you gonna plug it up at? Unless you plugging it up to the automobiles you got out there. And if you really out there living in the wilderness, boy, that mean, hey man, if you ain't bringing up food for you for 8 days, you foraging for something. I bet there ain't many of them out there, they hunted. You know what I'm talking about? They got there skinning animals, roasting them and cooking it.
They running up to the Walmart and coming back.
Coming back. You know what I'm saying? Because the purpose of the booth and being in the wilderness was for only one cause and one cause alone, and that was to humble you, to cause you to suffer, so you could bring forth that fruit to perfection. Because he sit back and look at, we don't look at it like that, but he described as you know it, because you are a husbandman, that dropping that seed got to die in the ground. So you turn around and looking at it, you got to die in order to bring forth the fruit for him to come pick it up. And he giving you time to die so he could come pick it up. I don't want to leave no fruit behind. I don't want to get here before it's time. I want to make sure I get all my fruit. Matter of fact, in the book of Micah, he said, I desire that summer fruit. You know what I'm saying? But now he turn around looking at, I don't want summer fruit. I want winter fruit. He said, you shall keep it a feast unto you of 7 days. In the year it shall be a statute for you forever in your generation. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Yasharal shall dwell in booths. That your generation may know that I made the children of Yasharal to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mizraim. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. So the purpose of it is for you to remember that I caused you to dwell in these movable tabernacles while you were in the wilderness. You know what this man did for you while you were in these movable tabernacles? Let's look at Exodus 16 and show you what he did for you while you was in these movable tabernacles. (16 and 12). I've heard the murmurings of the children of Yasharal. Speak unto them, saying, At even you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Don't you realize that even they ate flesh? When they ate flesh at even? Who know when they ate, Troy? When they ate flesh at even, Troy?
12. You talking about the Mashiach bread?
When they ate his body, right? So when they ate bread in the morning then? When they ate bread in the morning then?
When he was risen.
When he was risen, they sat down with him and he ate bread, and when they ate bread, their eyes were open. Man kept the word. He did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Bread and meat.
He was bread and meat, same time. Say, eat, this is my flesh. Say, my flesh is meat indeed. Rose up in the morning. They say, where you going to go? He say, man, sit down and eat bread with me. He said, it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that was laid was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness, there lay a small thing, as small as a hail frost on the ground. And when the children of Yasharal saw it, they said one to another, It is manna. For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which Yahuwah have given you to eat. Which we know in John chapter 6, he said, I'm the manna that come from Shamayim.
Rained it down.
Rained it down. He did that for them in the winter. They were complaining they were hungry. You sitting and saying you complaining. That's why he say, Blessed are those who hunger after righteousness. They'll be filled.
Alright, like when it said, for they knew not what it was, the manna, like how they didn't know the Mashiach was.
They didn't know who he was. Say he came unto his own and they knew him not. They didn't know who he was. They didn't look. They looked at him. They couldn't tell. This is the living bread right here. But the key thing is when they were in them booths, because they were in them tents. They were in them tents when this came down. They were in those booths. Because the Feast of Tabernacles is not, he waited till the seventh month and the 15th day of the month to do that. He had them do that as soon as they got there. You need somewhere to dwell at. Build that. They picked these tabernacles up, and as they went, wherever they went, that's where the tabernacles went. That's where they dwelt at. That's their tents, right? They dwelt in that. So while you were dwelling in a temporary place, he came down and gave you manna. Just like they were dwelling in a temporary place, and he gave them manna. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm saying. Tell you, this thing bigger than 7 days in a tent. You got to actually see what was going on when they were in these tents, right? Let's go look at Numbers chapter 9 by verse 15. We got to look. What are you looking at is even in a low state that Yah provided for them. You know what I'm saying? Even in the low state that the people were in when the Mashiach came, Yah provided for them. Everything he provided for their forefathers in the wilderness, he turned around and applied it for them when they were in the wilderness because they were still caught in sin. He said that on that day the tabernacle was reared up and the cloud covered the tabernacle. What happened when the Mashiach died? He was reared up, wasn't it? And in that day what happened? The cloud covered the tabernacle. Namely the tent of the testimony. Namely the tent of the testimony, or what? The house of the testimony. And what is kept in the house of the testimony? Nothing but the covenant. What is a Mashiach? The house of the testimony. What's inside of them? Thy law is within my heart, O Yah, to do thy will. Testimony in there. He said, you notice he said it reared up the tabernacle, but then he said namely. They say namely meaning specifically this. Now it make even more sense why that cloud was out there. He say, and at even there was upon the tabernacle as it were the appearance of fire until the morning. So when you turn around and you look at it, Hamashiach, even at evening, because he went through the furnace of affliction, there was the appearance of fire on him, even till the morning. So how is the fire still on him in the morning? Because we looked at it last night in Luke 24, when they seen him, they thought they seen a spirit Because that means that man had to be shining. Because remember, he said, we read it last night in Psalm 104. I'm dressed, I'm covered in the light. And you know what does fire give off? Light.
There's no darkness in it. We got no shadow.
Ain't no tell you fire don't give no shadow, no nothing. Just straight light.
In the scripture it says God is a consuming fire.
Yeah, it's in the law. Deuteronomy 4 to be specific. And the Epistle of Hebrews reiterates it. You know what I'm saying? Which is going back to what we already looked at about him consuming them people away, and their eyes and their tongues and all that are consumed, because Yah's a consuming fire. And Yahushua come in his Father's name, and he's saying with the fire and sword of Yah, plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yah going to be many. So he's that fire. Again, going back to showing you how, and then the name of Yahuwah shall be one, and his name one. Because they unified, they one and the same. These people can't see that. See, he says, I and I alone and the Savior, there's none beside me. Of course he ain't beside me, because he in me and I am him, you idiot.
I used to be on that foolish.
You know what I'm saying? My intestines aren't beside me, they in me. My heart's not beside me, it's in me. Niggas get too smart for their own good. He says, so it was always the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Yasharal journeyed in the place where the cloud abode. There the children of Yasharal pitched their tents. At the commandment of Yahuwah, the children of Yasharal journeyed. At the commandment of Yahuwah, they pitched. As long as the cloud was upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. Don't you realize when that cloud was upon that tabernacle and them people seeing his body, what did they go do? They went home and rested, didn't they? And guess what? When that cloud went away, what did they came out and do? They went to journey to go look for the man. And then what did he turn around and do and tell him in the book of Acts? Tarry here in Jerusalem till you be endued with power from on high. And they waited for that cloud to appear, and when that cloud appeared, they rested and they stayed. But when it departed, they went and preached. It's doing the same thing, man, the whole thing about the man. He said, when the cloud tarried long upon the tabernacle many days, the children of Yasharal kept the charge of Yahuwah and journeyed nigh. And so it was, when the cloud was few days upon the tabernacle, according to the commandment of Yahuwah, they abode in their tents. And according to the commandment of Yahuwah, they journeyed. And so it was, when the cloud abode from even unto the morning, and that cloud was taken up in the morning, that they journeyed. Whether it was by day or by night, that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. Or whether it were 2 days, or a month, or a year, that the cloud tarried upon the tabernacle, remaining thereon, the children of Yasharal abode in their tents and journeyed not. But when it was taken up, they journeyed. At the commandment of Yahuwah, they rested in the tents. And at the commandment of Yahuwah, they journeyed. They kept the charge of Yahuwah at the commandment of Yahuwah by the hand of Moses. Now what you said there, look, he said when the cloud was there, they ain't go nowhere. When the cloud departed, they moved. If the cloud was on the camp, what the camp gonna be? It's gonna be in darkness, right? Yeah. Go to John chapter 9. And if the cloud go away off the tabernacle, then what happens?
It's a lie.
They can move then, right? John 9 and 4. Well, make it 3. Yahushua answered, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Elohim should be made manifest. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night come when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. So when he's sitting here telling you, when I be removed, nobody can move. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can't journey nowhere, nobody. And you notice it said that whether they was there for a day or a month or whatever, a year, we don't go nowhere. When you go look in the book of Acts in the 1st chapter, let's go look at it in verse 9. What do we see happening? We got 2 more things to look at. We're just going to have to paraphrase it and say it another time. Because the other thing we look at is, when they went in them tents, what happened? They said they didn't have no water. What did he end up doing?
Bust that rock open.
He bust that rock open and he gave them water in the wilderness, symbolizing the Mashiach being that rock of which eternal life would come out of. So even when they were traveling in these tabernacles and dwelling in these tents, he gave them 3 things. Bread to eat, a cloud to really direct them when to go and when not to go, You know what I'm talking about? And then he gave them water. And you know the fourth thing he said happened to them when they went in the wilderness that we read? Their clothes didn't get old.
Food, shelter, and clothes.
So if their clothes didn't get old, that's showing you how he was going to be covering them with an inheritance in the Shamahim that is not defiled, that will not fade away. We'll read that since I mentioned it in 1 Peter. Because if your garments don't get old, that means they don't decay and don't fade away, right? Don't you know if you covered in the Ruach HaKodesh and that's your, is that going to fade away? Is that going to defile? Is that going to wax old? So he was showing you all the stuff he was giving them in the wilderness while they were dwelling in. That's why he telling you, that's why he was telling you to dwell in them tents for you to remember that. Because what you were actually remembering was the salvation that he wrought through his scheme, through his son, through your king. The manna in the wilderness, you in the tents, right? His flesh. You was thirsty, you ain't had nothing to drink. Come unto me, all ye that thirst, and I'll give you drink. Ruach HaKodesh. Say your clothes ain't even get old. He said, I give you the Ruach HaKodesh, it's eternal. So then we looking at three things that which he gave you in the wilderness to show you that your sufficiency is of Yah and not of man. You know what I'm talking about? And then if you see your sufficiency of Yah, when you were actually in that tent, you ain't thinking about I'm laying in this tent just to be laying in this tent. I'm sitting there thinking about this man worked salvation for us while we were journeying in sin, that we might have life upon our departure. You know what I'm saying? For you to remember that. See, sometimes y'all got to do it just like you got to do your kids. You got to do stuff to them for them to remember that. Acts 1:9. And when he had spoken these things while he beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. That means the cloud been taken off the camp. They could move. Do you not notice? Remember he said, when the cloud was on the camp, they moved. When the cloud was gone from the camp, they didn't move, right? What did Hamashiach tell his apostles? Don't go unto the Samaritans, don't go to the Gentile, enter ye not. But go ye rather unto the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. I mean, they couldn't journey outside the camp while he was there. Couldn't go nowhere. But when he left, he told them, go to the nations from one end of the earth to the other and preach this good news. They were able to lead out of Jerusalem and preach that word then. They didn't leave from out of there and preach. You not realize other than, you know, the surrounding areas where he went, because he had to walk through the whole land. That man never left out the land. You know what I'm talking about? He never left out the land with that. And you notice the apostles never left out the land either. They couldn't journey. The cloud on the camp. Where you going to go? You can't leave from here. You can't go nowhere. But as soon as that cloud took him up and received him out of their sight, what went down? And while they looked steadfastly toward Shamahim as he went up, behold, two men stood by him in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why ye stand gazing up into Shamahim? The same Yahusha which is taken up from you into Shamahim shall so come in like manner as you seen him go into Shamahim. Don't you realize when he come back, he said the land will be safely inhabited, which means our tents are pitched, we will not move. He said, I liken those that hear my words as a man who built his house upon a rock. So for when this man get back here, and we get in the land, he said we'll be dwelling in unwalled villages and tents safely. He says that in Ezekiel 39, meaning you're dwelling in tabernacles safely. If you dwelling in tents safely, I mean, he's telling you when he coming back. He telling you when he coming back. And these niggas tell you not to keep this.
Fools.
So that means when he come back, they going to miss it. Then they going to miss the whole point of what, like I say, man, brothers took all this stuff because the tent right there. Missing the point of what the tent was about. It was a temporary shelter. Right now we in a temporary shelter. You know what I'm saying? And while we was in this temporary shelter, I needed some bread. So I gave you my son. You know what I'm saying? I needed some water. So I gave you my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Say your clothes was getting a little raggedy. They were starting to unravel. So I covered you in my son. Oh, you got to look at the same thing with the garment with Esau and Jacob. Put your firstborn on. This ain't going to wax old. You'll get a blessing then.
Put your firstborn on.
Put your firstborn on. You'll get a blessing then. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 5. I hope y'all can see that it's bigger than just dwelling in a tent. I just waited till the end of the feast to really to bring that point on. It's bigger than just being in the tent, just laying in there. Oh, it's lumpy out here. It's cool outside. I like it out here. Which ain't nothing wrong with it. I ain't been in a tent in 20 years. It ain't as bad as it seems. No, it's not actually. All you just need is the proper materials. I mean, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. Even if you were in the woods on a campground, it ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just dealing with probably the mosquitoes and whatnot. If you don't like bugs and stuff like that, it might drive you crazy. But other than that, you got it. 1 Peter 1 and 3. Blessed be Elohim and Father of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again into a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead. Don't you realize that we were in a state of death while we were in Egypt, and he begotten us to a lively hope when he brought us out? You know what I'm saying? We don't get ready, because we finished getting ready to shut it down. To an inheritance, incorruptible, undefiled, and look what he say. And that fade not away, reserved in Shamahim for you. Don't you realize that's got to be the power of Yah for you to walk around 40 years with the same clothes on and they don't get old?
You better recognize.
You know what I'm saying? Don't you think these clothes we got on will start waxing old probably about 3-4 months wearing it straight? If you ain't washing, they be good and straight. Anybody want CJ to wash their clothes by hand? I heard that. I'm saying we can get one of them old school washboards. Get him an Aunt Jemima hat.
In a bucket.
Bucket. Get him a old, what you call the thing? Harmonica. He can all be singing Negro spirituals.
What's it called?
From somebody else.
The lasso.
You know what I'm saying? He be out there like this here. Nobody knows. Trouble I've seen. Nobody knows I'm stupid. That's why I be out there. Listen, verse 5. Who are kept by the power of Elohim through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. That's what he was telling them. He said, I humbled you and I suffered thee to hunger to see if you would keep my commandments or no. Because all that was for the explicit purpose. They were kept by the power of the Most High through the faith to the salvation that was ready to be revealed. And most of it, they weren't ready for it. Praise ye Yah for Yahushua HaMashiach in the word. Y'all understood all this?
Yes, sir.
Go on here. See if I can get the